What if your deepest desires weren't temptations, but sacred signals from the divine? Could your body be more than flesh, an altar coded with spiritual destiny? And what if what the world calls lust is actually your soul remembering its mission? What if what you feel in your body is not ordinary desire? What if your inner restlessness is in fact a heavenly reminder that your body was not born for the profane, but for the sacred? The Bible is full of hidden mysteries that few dare to see, and one of the greatest of them is precisely in the body, the temple of the Spirit. The word doesn't say your body is a prison. It says it is household, a consecrated place, prepared to house something far beyond the flesh: purpose, frequency, revelation. Maybe you never understood why certain bonds left you empty, why casual encounters made you sick, why even though you wanted to, you felt like you were disconnecting from yourself. It's because the body of a chosen one cannot support something that has no mission. There is something in you that screams for vibrational purity. Not the purity that the religious system has imprisoned in rules, but the energetic purity that aligns body, soul, and spirit with the mission you have carried since before you were born. You were not made for regular sex. You were separated, and your soul knows it. That's why you feel so much. Therefore, when you love deeply. So when it touches, it activates. So when you surrender, you either rise or you break, because you carry something sacred, something that the world tries to desecrate, but that heaven insists on preserving. From the womb, you were marked with a purpose, and your body was shaped to be a vehicle of healing, a portal of revelation, a field of spiritual frequency. That's why so many people walk away from you without explanation. That's why their relationships are more intense. That's why you often feel rejected even when you're offering love. The truth is that those who carry light bother those who live in darkness. And your desire is not carnal, it is code. What burns inside you is not sin, it is cold. What pulses in your skin is not desire for worldly pleasure. It is the remembrance that you were made to love with divine consciousness. And if you feel that your body reacts differently to connections, it's because it's trying to remind you you're not from here. You are a chosen one, separated, marked, and the temple you inhabit is not ordinary. Maybe deep down, you've already felt this in dreams, in moments of intimacy that emptied you more than they filled you, in silent tears for no reason, in an embrace that felt like a portal, in a kiss that disconnected you from your purpose. None of this was trivial. Everything was a sign. And when you start to understand what your body is trying to show you, you begin to awaken to something that goes far beyond pleasure, something that reveals to you the reason why God separated you from the beginning. You are not strange, you are sacred. Now, if you identified with what I said here, write in the comments, "My body is a temple and I have a purpose." If this message resonated within you, leave your like now and subscribe to the channel, because here we do not speak to the crowd. We speak to those who are separated, to those who face the same struggles, to those who are awakening, because your body is not a battlefield, it is an altar. And what comes next will reveal why. If you've come this far, it's because your soul is already awakening, and an awakened soul begins to reject everything that weakens it, including sex without a soul, including touch without a purpose, including desire without a mission. The chosen one's body rejects the void. How many times have you tried to surrender thinking that it would fill something inside you? But what came after was just silence, a strange emptiness, a feeling that you had disconnected from yourself. It was as if something had been ripped away and not given away. This is not guilt. This is not weakness. That's a sign you are a chosen one. And your body has spiritual consciousness. Even when your mind tries to justify, rationalize, give in to what the world calls normal, your body vibrates differently. It feels when something is out of alignment. It feels when the touch does not carry sacred intent. It feels when the exchange was not soul to soul. Ordinary people can give themselves over to pleasure out of impulse, out of need, out of ego. But not you. Because your body was consecrated, it was separated from the womb and separate bodies. Do not tolerate empty bonds. The body of the chosen one carries frequency, and every high frequency collapses when exposed to what is shallow, to what is spiritually dirty, to what has no alliance. Have you ever noticed how your body gets sick after certain relationships? how your energy drains, how you feel like something spiritual has been lost and it takes days, sometimes weeks, to recover. This happens because your energy is not worldly. It was not made for common experiences. Empty sex doesn't feed you. It dries you out. Purposeless and touch doesn't connect you. It fragments you. Banal desire does not satisfy you. It confuses you. You are not broken. You are protected. Spiritual desire versus common desire. The chosen. One's desire is not a physical hunger. It is a spiritual longing. It is a calling that is born in the soul and is reflected in the body. It's not about meat. It's about mission. When you feel desire, you are actually feeling a calling. You are looking for something that resonates with your essence. You want an encounter that expands, that reveals, that connects dimensions. This is why casual sex doesn't make sense to you. It's not moralism, it's not trauma, it's code. You carry a spiritual matrix within you, and when you try to unite with someone who doesn't vibrate at the same frequency, this code comes into conflict. The result: fatigue, anguish, guilt, mental confusion, feelings you can't explain because what was supposed to be a relief becomes a burden. What was supposed to be a cure turns into a cut. What was supposed to be a meeting turns into a ruin. And there's no point in running away from it, because the chosen one can't pretend he doesn't feel it. You can't fool yourself for long. You can't do what everyone else does without feeling the weight of moving away from your calling. And then comes the emptiness, the loneliness, the involuntary abstinence. But this, contrary to what you think is protection, it is God saying, do not waste the energy of your temple on covenants that were not made by me. You feel desire, yes, but not just any desire. You want someone who is your partner, who speaks the language of your soul, who understands the mysteries of your body, who understands that sex for you is spirituality incarnate, someone who does not reduce you to flesh, but recognizes you as an altar, sensuality as a spiritual portal. And here's one of the most profound truths no one has ever told you. Your sensuality is a spiritual technology. Yes, she's not worldly, she is not vulgar, she is not sinful, she is an energy field. She opens portals, she summons forces, she activates dimensions. That's why you need to understand, when you connect with someone, you're not just joining bodies, you're joining fields, frequencies, portals, souls, stories. And if the person you are with is not aware of this, what was supposed to be an elevation turns into a fall. You leave the meeting more charged than when you entered, more confused, further away from God, more lost in one's own body. Chosen one, your sensuality is a weapon of light, and weapons of light cannot be given into the wrong hands. So when you expose yourself to random relationships, it's not just a physical act. It is a spiritual opening that can generate traumas, invisible bonds, energetic blocks, and delays in your journey. Has it ever happened to you that you felt that after a seemingly normal relationship, you were no longer the same, feeling like you lost something you couldn't name? Having strange dreams, spiritual heaviness, feeling like something has been activated inside you, but in a negative way. This is real because sex, when it is not sacred, becomes a loophole. And that is why many chosen ones live long periods of silence, abstinence, isolation, not because they are less desired, but because they are more protected. God is preserving you, looking at his energy, preventing portals from being opened by force. Your sensuality is a call to align body, soul, and spirit. And when that happens, what you will experience will be so profound, so sacred, so transformative, that you will realize that everything you experienced before was just a rehearsal. Nothing happened by chance. Every relationship is wrong. Every person who walked away, every night of solitude, every tear in the dark, all of this was God preparing the altar. And you are that altar. Now tell me, has this ever happened to you? Have you ever felt that after a relationship, something spiritual broke inside you? If so, comment below. Now I understand I am separate, and maybe now it will all start to make sense. Maybe you start to remember all the times you felt invisible, even when you just wanted to be truly seen. Of all the times you loved someone with all your soul and yet you were ignored, replaced, forgotten. Have you ever wondered, why doesn't anyone really want me? Why does it seem like every relationship stops at me, like I'm some kind of roadblock? The answer, although painful, is also divine. Heaven protects you, protects from wrong. Link protects from impure touch. protects you from the path that could steal your spiritual identity. Your pain is not rejection, it is separation. Your abstinence is not punishment, it is preparation. Your silence is not oblivion, it is guarding. And yes, it is a painful process because the chosen one misses real connection, because the soul cries out for sacred intimacy, for eyes that see beyond appearances, for hands that touch without hurting, for presences that welcome without draining. But this type of presence is rare, and it only arrives when your field is clear, when your body has been healed of old ties, when your soul is ready to receive and no longer repeat patterns of pain. This is why God silences some areas of your life, not to punish you, but to rebuild you. Because every time you teamed up with someone who didn't share your mission, a part of you was lost in the process. The chosen one does not live in counters. He lives portals. And when a portal is opened with someone who has no aligned purpose, it turns into a wound. Have you ever noticed that the more you give of yourself, the more people seem to disappear? The more you show who you are, the more they reject you. The more you try to love truly, the more alone you end up. This happens because your light disturbs the darkness of those who have not yet awakened. Your love exposes the hidden neediness of others. Your body speaks a language that few can translate. And then you start to think the problem is you, but it isn't. The problem is that the world is not prepared to love a temple. The world only knows how to touch what is common. And you are not ordinary. You are consecrated. You are spiritual code in human form. And the deepest part of this pain is when it turns into silence. Silence of relationships, silence of desire, silence of the body. You feel like there's something there, but you don't know how to access it anymore. You feel like you still want it, but it feels like your soul has lost the password. You feel alive, but without vibration. This is involuntary withdrawal. It's heaven saying, I don't want you to get infected again. I am clearing the field. I'm preparing the altar. And this preparation takes time, demands silence. It requires you to go through the desert without losing faith. Many of the chosen ones spend years without experiencing a true connection, and it's not because they're not desirable. It's because they are spiritually protected. The soul of the chosen one needs someone who knows how to see. See beyond the skin. See beyond the ego. See beyond traumas. She needs someone who recognizes the mission. May he understand that touch is sacred, that pleasure is a spiritual construction, that delivery is a pact. Therefore, until that someone arrives, heaven puts up walls, invisible walls that push people away, that cause unexpected terms, that interrupt seemingly perfect encounters. All this is deliverance. All this is divine love. All of this is polishing. And in the meantime, your flesh cries out, but your spirit keeps you safe. Meanwhile, your heart feels, but your soul remains silent. Meanwhile, the world turns, but you remain stuck in time because God's time has not yet opened for this. Don't blame yourself for loneliness. Don't be ashamed of your lack of desire. Don't feel lesser for not experiencing what others are experiencing. You are being separated. You are being refined. You are being hidden because that which is rare cannot be exposed before its time. And maybe you've already asked yourself, will anyone ever really recognize me? Will anyone ever understand the kind of love I carry? Will I be able to surrender without losing myself again? These questions live in the heart of every chosen one, because the soul knows that it was not born to live halves, because the body knows it wasn't made to be wasted on just anyone, because the spirit knows that true pleasure only exists where there is purpose. And yes, this waiting is tiring, this silence weighs heavily, this desert is exhausting. But what is being prepared for you requires this process. It's not just anything, it's not just anyone, it's not just any touch, it's purpose, it's alignment. It is a reunion of souls. And until that time comes, you continue to be kept guarded by silence, guarded by the Spirit, guarded by the heaven that chose you. Before you understood what that meant, and now that you know, there's no way to ignore it anymore. What you felt as guilt was actually the call of spiritual purity. That emptiness after the surrender was God saying it wasn't that one, it wasn't now, not yet, because your body is not the stage for emotional turmoil. It is not a hardship deposit. It is not a battlefield between desire and repression. Your body is an altar, altar of the Holy Spirit, altar of the divine presence, Altar where something is manifested that the world still does not understand. But no, that heaven has always recognized. And if you've come this far, it's because this truth was already written inside you. You just needed someone to activate it. You just needed to hear that your sexual desire is a sacred language. Try sacred. Don't hold back. Don't be ashamed. Don't try to live like the world lives, because you were not created by the system. You were separated, consecrated, chosen. Your body has spiritual memory. He remembers, he feels, he rejects what is profane and calls for what is eternal. And if you've spent a good part of your life trying to fit in, trying to feel like everyone else today, the sky tells you you are not everyone. You are mine. You are temple. If this truth spoke to you, comment here. I will overcome desire. Write this as a decree, a key of identity, a seal of who has been separated. If this word reached you, leave your like. This makes other chosen also find this video, and subscribe here to the Chosen Ones channel, because here every video is a revelation. Every word is a mirror. Every message is a call. God bless you. See you in the next video.